We are on. Welcome, everybody, for this Cosmic Wisdom School number 6. I hope you can hear me well. Can you do thumbs up if you can hear me well? Great. So, welcome. Cosmic Wisdom School is on, and today we have a fun subject, which is spirit animal, power animal. And we're going to start with some writings first before we get into our intellect. So if you have a pen and a paper handy to do a little bit of a nice, fun psychological exercise to start this class today. I know that when I start explaining certain things, we're all gonna get into our mind, analytical mind, judgmental mind, and it might affect the results of this psychological test. So before I start explaining anything, we're gonna go straight into the exercise. Today I'm wearing some of my super spirit animal friends, the quetzal and the owl and more owls and snake. And one of my other spirit animals is watching over here. It's a pleasure I introduce you to Uni, my unicorn. She likes to travel with me everywhere I go, and she's one of my spirit animals. And I'll explain about the spirit animals that are also how you say a legend, like dragons and unicorns that can also be our spirit animals. So let's have a moment to sit in a comfortable position, please. Take a few deep breaths and connect with that space of no mind. You can take a deep inhale and fill your body with energy and vitality. Exhale and connect with the voice of your intuition, your higher self, the voice of the spirit. You can take another deep inhale and let go of any tensions, worries, anxiety, expectations. Just begin to feel completely present and aware. Nothing to do, just be present. I'm gonna take one last deep inhale and exhale with a sigh. And clear our minds from any thoughts or any ideas of what this exercise is about or what this class even is about. And once you can get into this alignment with the voice of your heart, you can once again gently blink your eyes open. And grab your pen and a paper. And I'm gonna ask you to be very fair to yourself, very no mind, no brain, and just write down the first things that comes to mind. So I want you to bring into your mind one animal, the first animal that comes to your mind. Write down what is this animal? Just one animal, any animal. It doesn't need to be your favorite animal. Just the first one that comes to mind today in this time. Write it down. And after you write down this animal, don't think much. Just go with the first instinct. Then I want you to write a few words about what this animal means to you. When you think about this animal, what do you feel? How does it make you feel? Have a little time to do that. How does it make you feel? What this animal means to you? You can say this animal is smart, is caring, is fluffy, it's soft, it's powerful. It brings me a feeling of connection with my intuition. whatever words that comes to mind, the more you write down, better it is in the end. You'll see. So the more attributes you can find, more fun is this exercise. What this animal means to you, what it brings, what emotions, what ideas. Couple more minutes. Bring it on. All the information we can find about this animal. How you feel about it. What does it teach you? This is the sign, the time. The frog is speaking. So let's bring in another animal, the second animal. The first animal that comes to mind, if you need to close your eyes, channel this animal for a little bit. Just bring to mind the second animal and write down what it means to you, how it makes you feel, what are the attributes. Same as you did before. Remember, the more attributes you can find, better it is in the end. And I'm sorry if you have done this exercise before, it doesn't matter, just do it again. You might be surprised, might be a total different creature that comes to your mind this time. They change sometimes. The second animal. If you have any question, if there's something you don't understand in English, you speak Spanish or Portuguese, I speak all those languages, Spanish, Portuguese, English, and a little bit of French. You can just type there in the chat and I try to translate, okay, or explain. So we're talking about our second animal. How does it make you feel? What does animal transmit to you without much thinking, more like a feeling, even if it doesn't make sense to you, even if you don't understand why these words or feelings or ideas come to mind, doesn't matter, just write them down. Try not to analyze just yet, at least. And then one more, last one, last animal, a third and the last. One more animal, bring into mind, channel, feel, use your intuition, your heart. Take a deep breath if you need. And again, write down as much as you can about this animal. What it brings to you, how does it make you feel when you think about it, when you see one. What it shows you, what it teaches you, doesn't matter. any word that comes to mind. You just cannot say my brother or my mother. It's the animal that comes. Or that ex-boyfriend that behaved like an animal. It cannot be. Okay. It needs to be an animal, a real animal. No, I'm just kidding. Just a few more minutes. Okay. The frog is calling. And if you like, you can write more down later. But so we can continue on. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you if you like to share. You don't have to. But if you want, unmute and just say anything, anything, anything that comes to mind when you think about those animals. If you don't want to share, that's totally fine. If there is
Okay,
anything
so
at all. Yes?
okay. For the first animal, I put the humpback whale,
Uh-huh.
and I put peace, powerful, intelligent, culture, dance, and yeah, that's it.
Very nice. So see, there was a few words that was coming up to you
Yeah,
already.
yeah.
So now I want to share that this psychological test, as some of you already know, my father was a psychologist and I grew up with being analyzed, which sometimes can be quite uncomfortable. Everything that I spoke about, that I thought, that I dreamed, that I draw, everything was analyzed. And I learned about this test when I was still a child. And I used to do that with my friends as just, playing. And my three animals, that my favorite that came to mind was the dolphin, the black panther, and the eagle. Not necessarily in this order, but now I'm telling you what that means. So the first animal in the psychological test means what your energy, your personality appears to the world outside. So this is how people see you. That's your first animal. The second animal is what you really want it to be, who all those attributes that you want for yourself. So I see some of you already having fun with this. And the third animal represents that which you really are. So who you are is the third animal. You can write that down so you can do with your friends. So I used to do that with all my boyfriends. I wanted to know everything about them that they didn't even know about themselves. So you cannot say the results before, okay, this you give to the end. First, you tell them to think about the animal and talk to you as much as they possibly can about each one of those animals. And then you give the what it means, the meaning. So again, the first animal is how other people see you. The second animal is how you really want it to be. And the third one is who you truly are. And you can read that for yourself. This is your private, personal information if you like. So I'll start explaining now a little bit about this spirit animal, what it means. And I chose to teach this class in a way more experiential. So, how I experience, not about how the shamanism sees, not how about the Indians of this, of that country see it. It's more about how we or me as a person experience this, how I feel those animals in my life. So since I was a child, I always loved the animals and nature. And I wanted to be a veterinarian. Since the time I start speaking, to until I started embarking a theater school, and then the life took me to another twists and turns, and I ended up doing what I do today. But for many years of my life, I wanted to be a veterinarian. I was very close to this spirit of animal. Hi, Christian. So you came a little bit late. We already did our psychological test, but I'll give you this recording after, because that first part of the practice I think is one of the most fun of it, and it would be really nice if you can do that for yourself later in another time. But so the spirit of animals was always very dear to me, and this test is very fun because you can use these archetypes to really learn about ourselves. So Jungian, in a Jungian way of interpretation, they say, or Jungian says and teaches, try to find out what those symbols and archetypes mean to you personally. Because there's many sites that you can go online and say, you dream with an owl, and then you go to Google, what dreaming with owl mean? But then it's all about the perspective of another person. But this test that I just taught you is one of the best ways for you to interpret your own dreams and your own ideas, because it can really be different for every person. What an owl means to somebody might not be the same thing that means to you. And that applies to anything, right? Not just animals. So when we think when you talk about dreams interpretation, for instance, any form of dream. Let's say you dreamed with that you're pregnant, even if you're a man. Sometimes it can happen. And you go Google what it means to dream that I was pregnant. You're gonna receive all this square information of what it means. But for you, for yourself, it means something else. So one of the Jungian exercise of dreams interpretation is to just do what we just did. Empty your mind for a moment, take a few deep breaths, align yourself with your intuition, with your higher self, and write down what it means to me to be pregnant at this time in my life. And if it's an animal that you dream with, ask the same question. What this animal means for me? How does it make me feel? Okay, so that is one of the things I wanted to share with you today. Doesn't really matter what the indigenous say, doesn't really matter what the shaman says. Try to find out what this message for yourself from your own subconscious. Another thing that I want to talk about is, if you believe that everything that is alive has a spirit, if everything that is alive has a spirit or have a soul, it has consciousness. So if everything that is alive and have a soul has consciousness, everything that is alive and have a soul and have consciousness can communicate with us. In that way, the animals can also communicate with us. Can you agree with that? You can just say yes or no. And if you don't, please share your own wisdom, okay? This is not just one person has the truth. I'm just saying what I experienced for myself.
Yeah, for me, definitely. I think, I mean, you can say it when you have dogs and stuff. I was like, I was like for the longest time anti dogs and stuff, but recently we got one like 2 years ago, and it completely like changes like your perspective, like from experiencing dogs for another person and experiencing dogs for yourself. You get like a bond that you actually communicate in a different level, right?
Yes, imagine that if a person has a dog of a neighbor when they're 7 years old and this dog beat this person. So for you, a dog might represent something completely different than for other person as a dog, a dog lover, you know.
Yeah.
So again, go dig into in your own archetype, your own subconscious, and find out what those animals mean to you. So if everything has consciousness and everything has an awareness of itself, they can send us messages. They communicate with us. So for us to communicate with the spirit of the animals, what we need to do is just ask and be willing to listen. And that's another thing. The more specific you are, the better it is. And that serves for everything and anything. So imagine that our mind is like, or our higher self is like Google. If you go to Google and ask Google, what should I know? You might not receive any answer. But the more specific you are in your questions, the deeper and more elaborate will be the answers that you ask. So you can always ask those spirit for a message and they'll talk to you. Then you have to train yourself to relax your conscious mind, your analytical mind, so be able to listen. So what is an archetype? An archetype is a model of something, a very typical example of something that it repeats itself over and over again, and it becomes an archetype. So every animal can be an archetype that we can tap into this meaning of this archetype in order to learn something, to receive a message from it. For the shamanism, for the shamans to work with the spirit of the animals are very, very important. But shamanism is almost like a religion in a way that they have a very set rules and ways of doing things. So for them to work with the spirit of animals, it's a very, very serious thing. So what they do, they were gonna travel into the underworld to capture a spirit of the animal for their clients. And then when they give that spirit of the animal to the client, the person has the responsibility to take care of it. And if this person that received the spirit of the animal doesn't take care of it, the spirit kind of get upset, get angry, and might leave the person. So for shamans, the spirit animal is almost like an angel or a guide that you guide you in through certain phases of your life. So they take it very, very serious. So here I'm approaching this spirit animals in two different ways, in the psychological way as an archetype, or as an understanding that if everything that has awareness and consciousness and it's alive, we can establish a communication with it. And then we can approach to through the eye, the viewpoint of the shamanic path, which then you can take that spirit of the animal very, very serious. And every animal has a specific medicine, they call a specific message, a specific attributes. Okay. So you can choose how you want to play with this energy. For me personally, I like to be free to have each animal having my own interpretation and not be set close into specific set of rules. There is a beautiful exercise that is done in shamanism to pull in the spirit of the animal and then to work with this medicine, to work with this energy. And that is through dancing your spirit animal. So you enter into a trance-like state through drums and through dance and movement. And again, you clear your mind from the analytical, judgmental mind and just allow the spirit to incorporate. So you can incorporate the spirit and you become that animal. And that's a great exercise also to do, like Carlos Castaneda, talk about that when they can incorporate, they become the animal. So that's two different ways of work with it. You can work with it, the communication of the animal outside of you, or you can incorporate this animal and become the animal. There's two different ways. There's many ways you can work with this energy, but those are two that I wanted to mention. So I wrote down a few ways of how a spirit animal can communicate with us. Another thing to remember is to remember that the subconscious mind talks through symbols and analogies, right? So these animals can come with us in certain time of our life in order for us to learn something about the symbology of this animal. But again, you can interpret yourself what that means at that moment. So connecting with your subconscious to understand the symbology. And some of the things that I wrote down here, how can you communicate with the spirit of the animal, is through synchronicities. So watch for synchronicities. Sometimes you're walking in the street. That here, living in Costa Rica, that happens so often. I'm just driving my quad on the road and then a bunch of raccoons cross the street and I have to stop the quad and just watching them cross. And I always think, oh, raccoon medicine, what they came to teach me. And then the next day there's again raccoons and the next day again raccoons. So even though if I feel that my lifetime spirit animal is the dolphin, for instance, at this time, this day, the raccoon is my spirit animal. It's trying to talk to me or sending me a message. Maybe not. So it depends on how you wanted to see it, right? We can use that. And again, so you sit down and think, what was happening in my life in this day that this raccoon passed to me twice in a day or twice in 2 days? What the raccoon represents, what it means for me. How does it make me feel when I think about the raccoon? And then notice what's happening in your life. Is a new job, is a new person that enter your life, or maybe you are not sure if you go this way or that way, and see if that's any ways that animal will send you some clarity or give you some information. And I'm going to go deeper into that in a moment. So I'm just going to give you a few examples of how the spirit of an animal can communicate with us. So one of them is that through synchronicities. Another way is through dreams. Sometimes we have repetitive dreams, or maybe just one dream with an animal that was this a magical, powerful, incredible dream. Another thing of how an animal spirit can communicate with us is through a conscious connection. Let's say today I want to receive an information about something. I'm going to go into nature and meditate and see if there will be any animal that come to speak with me or through me. So connect with them and believe. That's the most important, right? You have to believe. So ask for it. Remember, if everything has consciousness, if everything has a spirit, we can establish a communication with them. You just need to open yourself, align yourself for this communication to take place, and then believe. Another thing is what I just said, is go into nature and ask for a connection. Sometimes the animals just appear to you, screaming at you, listen to me. And other times we have to go for them. Another thing is journal. So journal your memories and notice the patterns. And that might help you to understand about the spirit animal that might be your guide for a lifetime. So again, we can have spirit animals that is the strong archetype of that represents our spirit, a little bit of our personality and spirit that can also change in different phases of life. Or we can have the spirit animals that comes as a guide in different times of our lives. And in a moment, again, through examples, I'm going to go deep into each of those things. So journal your memories and your patterns. For some people can be very clear. Like all my life I was crazy about cats and all my neighbors had cats and there's cats all around me. So it's clear that there's something there with the cat, right? So journal, notice the patterns. And another way that an animal can speak with you is through intuitive writing. So just a little exercise of, again, intention and alignment. Sit down, relax your arm, write and channel that information. So some animals can stay with us forever and other times appear through different phases of our lives. I have to write notes, otherwise I forget the important things I want to talk about. Now I want to give you some examples of things that happen to me and with my friends around me and things that I see with my work with hypnotherapy. So one of the things that one time happened to me was in a dream. So again, I always, since I was born, I had these three animals that I discovered through the psychological test, and that was my favorite animals, and I believe that represents a lot about my personality or who I am. So the eagle, the dolphin, and the black panther, those three are always part of who I am. But then one time, I was already living in Costa Rica, and I had this incredible dream. You know those dreams that seems to be more than just a dream, that is so real? I think we all had experienced that. No, there's dreams and there's dreams. There's dreams that is almost like you leave your body and you're living a total different life in a different dimension. And this dream was so palpable. I was lying down in a hammock. This hammock was floating in a very thick, lush jungle. And a quetzal, and I have to say that I had no idea what a quetzal was until I had the dream, which that makes the dream even more incredible. But there's a quetzal, is this magical, beautiful bird. It's like I'm wearing a earring of a quetzal. After, if you don't know what's a quetzal, you can Google. It's an incredible bird. And so this quetzal came flying and stopped right in front of me and looked right into my face and released one of the tail, one of the feathers of the tail. And if you know a quetzal, they have this long, beautiful, majestic tail. And the tail was drifting and floating and landed on my lap, and everything was blissful. Everything was just pure joy, like orgasmic bliss. All the colors were so vibrant. And shortly after, I continued living in Costa Rica. And I never knew why I had to come to Costa Rica. If you don't know, I was born in Brazil. And when I was very young, I think I was like 21 when I arrived in Costa Rica. But since I was like 18, I was talking to people, I want to go to Costa Rica. And people asked me, why you want to go to Costa Rica? And I had no idea. I don't know. I just know I had to go there. And voila, I'm almost 42. I'm still here. 20 something years later, I'm half of my life here. But when I came here, I had this dream with Quetzal. And later I understood, I was researching, I want to know what was that bird. So I went online, I Googled, and then I discovered that the Quetzal is the spirit animal, is the symbol of Guatemala and also Costa Rica, but it's also the symbol of Central America. So for the indigenous of the South America and the North America, they have this legend. They say that so the North America is the eagle, right? The land of the eagle. And the South America is the land of the condor. So they say that when the condor and the eagle meets in the middle is when there will be peace in the world. So the Central America is this place of the Quetzal. There's a beautiful picture that I can send you in our group chat later that you can find on Google. When you Google the map of the Central and North America, the land of the condor and the eagle, there's this beautiful image that appear that when you see the shape of North America, it has the shape of an eagle, and the South America has the shape of the condor, and the Central America has the shape of the quetzal. And it's just this little tiny bird, just like Costa Rica, like Central America. There's like a little strip that unites the North and the South. And that's the legend of the rainbow people, the people that are here to help raising the vibration of this planet. And as you know, the Central America is such a vortex for healers and people that comes to receive healing or to share forms of healing. But when the Quetzal appeared to me in this dream, and then I understood the symbology of the Quetzal, I understood why I was here. And since then, I have seen Quetzals everywhere. And they're always in two. They're beautiful birds. Sometimes they come to visit me in my house. They're very rare. They're not very easy to find in Costa Rica, but they're around. They're beautiful. So that is one of the examples, live examples of how a spirit animal can send you a message, can appear to you for you to just like change something in your life and or get into the right track and to the right path. Another example is you can be born with certain memories. So if you don't know, I have a daughter. She's 14 years old. Her name is Jaya. She's a beautiful teen. And when she was little, I always asked her, do you remember where you were before you came to this life, before you came into mama's belly? Do you remember where? Because children, they can remember their past life from 0 to 5 years old. It's way easier for them to remember their past life. So when you have children, you can always ask them while they're little and their memory is very fresh. So I used to ask her, who were you? Where were you before you came? And she used to say, she was very little. She was 2, 3 year old. And she said, I was a zebra, mom. Now she could have said anything, right? I was a princess. I was whatever. But she said she was a zebra. And I said, so where were you? How was the life of a zebra? And she said, I don't remember much. I think I was in Africa and I was drinking from a lake and somebody shoot me and I died. That was what she remembered. And and years later, I would ask the same question to see if she would still remember, and she would still remember until she was like 6, and then she wouldn't remember. And then, of course, she just remembered because I was asking her. But that's an interesting story. Another one is that since she was very little, she was crazy about cats. She loved cats and was one of the first words that she said growing up. And before she was born, when I was still pregnant at that time, I'll be very honest with you. I wasn't sure if I was ready to be a mom. And I asked in a dream, what should I do? And I had this incredible dream. All my life, my knowledge, my teachings and learning was all about India. Yoga was always part of my life. I had no much idea about Egypt knowledge or philosophy or science. But I had a dream. I was in Egypt. I was in a cave, and this beautiful, gorgeous woman was inside a sarcophagus, and she had a golden watch, and next to her there was this huge cat. I didn't know again anything about Egypt, that cats was special for them, anything. But the dream was very clear. And when I woke up the next day, I thought, okay, and this soul was asking me to help her to get out of there. So I said, okay, the golden watch, this is the golden time, is my time. I need to you know help the soul to reincarnate, to come to the light. And the cat was there with her. And when she was about 5 years old, we went to visit United States for a little trip, and was close to Halloween time. Then we went into Target. If you don't know, Target is like this huge and humongous shop in United States to search for a costume. And she went through all the costumes and she chose the one that was an Egyptian princess, an Egyptian figure. And I asked her, I was so surprised inside my mind. I was like, oh my God, And I asked her, why did you choose that one, Jaya? And she said, I did not choose, Mom. My soul chosen to for me. And I was like, wow, that's something. So you see, those spirit animals can be us. Some of us had been those animals before. Some of us has been close to those animals and have a very strong connection from life, from past life to other lives, from life beyond lives. We have those strong connection with those animals. So another example I want to give of spirit animal and connection is, again, through my work with hypnosis. I had a few clients, not many, but I have a few clients that went into past lives where there were animals. There's some religions in, like Buddhism, for instance. In Buddhism, they say that for us to be born or incarnate in the body of a human being, you have to pass through all the forms before that, plant kingdom and animal kingdom, and to get into the human. I don't know about that. I just try to share what I see in my work or lifetime of work. But this is one of the things that in Buddhism they believe. So we might have been all of them already. And sometimes our soul um, identified with certain spirits more than another. And they can come up, or those memories can come up to us in certain time in our lives for us to learn something that is important to learn in this present moment. So I will explain you this in a way. For instance, when you work with past life regression, right, like I do, if you believe that you have been everyone, because ultimately we're all one and the same, so that means that we have been everything and everyone already. But when we go into a past life regression, your subconscious will choose one or two of those lives or those personalities for you to see. So why it doesn't choose 345 other ones, but chose that one or two, is because that one or two that you're remembering today has an important message for you to work on, something that is important for you to learn in this present moment. So even though you might have been all those animals before, you might have a strong connection with a few of them that will help you to pass through whatever you need to pass through in this lifetime that you're living now. Does that make sense? So I have regressed a client that she was a dolphin in a past life. Very beautiful session. I had another session where my client was a horse. Very beautiful. And I always ask them, how does it feel to be this animal? And they can usually describe in pretty good details. How does it feel to be that animal? How they eat, how they think, how they interact. So ultimately, again, if we all have spirit and consciousness, we can all communicate in a very smart, intelligent way. Because maybe sometimes you see a cat and or a dog and you think they're quite stupid, but if you can communicate with their spirit, they might have very beautiful, powerful wisdom to share. So another thing that I want to share is that our spirit animal can be a how is called this word in English? If you can help me with the word, like not like a cat or dog, but can be a unicorn or dragon. Mythical. They can be a mythical creature. So spirit animals can also be a mythical creatures. And again, if you go back into the concept of archetypes, of symbols, it doesn't really matter if you believe they're real or real or not real. That's one way of seeing this for people that are more science-oriented mindset. But for others that can open their minds to believe that maybe in some time, those animals, maybe they existed in this dimension, in this physicality, just like a dog and a cat. And again, I have regressed people into past lives, and that's very fun information to share with you, that they have been those mythical creatures. And they can describe in great details how it is to be that creature, how they're living, how they're thinking. And I also have regressed people that went into lives where they had strong connection with these animals. They were not being those animals themselves, but they have seen. Like there was a beautiful regression that I never forget of this beautiful woman that she went into this past life where she captured a baby dragon, and she chained this baby dragon for days and weeks just because she was so in love with this baby dragon. And you have to see how much she was crying in this real life, in real time. You know, if a person, when they get like into hypnotic states and trance like states, sometimes they're so deeply relaxed that their body becomes totally immobile, so they just don't move. You look at them and it's just like stone, and the tears was coming out in her face, and she wasn't moving to wipe them out. She had like all the mocos coming out of her nose and her eyes of how much she was crying. The emotion was so freaking strong that it's so hard to doubt that what she was feeling was not real, was just imagination. She was feeling so sad, she was feeling so bad because she chained this baby dragon for very long, and the baby dragon was not happy. It was missing their mama. But she described how it looks like, what it liked to do, what was eating. So I not regressed, the opposite of regress. I moved her into a little bit time in the future of that same life to see what happened with the dragon after, just to see if there was some more positivity, because she was so sad. She was like sobbing. And then she saw the time where she finally cut the chain and released the dragon, and the dragon left and forgave her. And then she was happy after. But there was a beautiful story. I never forgot because it's so freaking real. And I had two or three other clients that also had connections with dragons in a past life. Another story was one of my dear close friends that I don't know if if you guys ever heard about the breatharians, people that live with light. They don't eat. They pass through the process of 21 days without eating and drinking. So in Brazil, a lot of people do that. Since I was teenage, I had a very strong connection with a guy called Oberon Om. His books have been translated into 35 different languages. He have traveled the world teaching about breatharianism, or living with light. And my friend went through this process. And when you are in this process, imagine to spend 21 days without drinking water. So there's a lot of things that happen in your physical body. And she said at one time she felt those spirits doing like a spiritual surgery in her. And they asked her to turn on her side, and they're doing things in her liver, in her kidneys. Anyways, and she had a vision with unicorn. And by the way, I travel 1.5 years by horse through Peru. I travel from the south of Ecuador to the south of Peru, 1.5 years galloping, trotting on the horse. And this friend of mine, she traveled with us in the horse, and then she went to Uruguay. She's from Austria, but she went to Uruguay and she built up this horse farm. And she has a very strong connection with horses all her life. But when she was passing through the process of 21 days, then she had this vision with the unicorn that came to talk to her. And the spirit of the unicorn, apparently, they're very noble, they're very noble souls, very intelligent, very beautiful, incredible beings. And they gave her a beautiful message. So she came to visit me in Costa Rica, and she wanted to go into a past life regression to see if what she saw in the process of 21 days was just like a delirium from not being eating, a delusion, or if it was real, if she really had this connection with the unicorn. So I guided her through the hypnotic state, and fair enough, the unicorn came back and sent her beautiful messages. So that was another beautiful hypnosis session where a client connected with their spirit animal. And the third one that I want to share with you today was the dolphin, the horse. Let's see if I'm not forgetting anything. The dragon. Oh, the centaurus. Oh my God, this session was incredible. So I have another one of a good friend She was living here in Costa Rica for a while, and she went into this past life where she was a freaking centaurus. No, the centaur, half horse, half person. And she was not just the a centaurus, but she was the alpha, the chief of the centaurus group of centaurus. And not just that, she was the boyfriend of Venus, the goddess Venus. She went into the time where the mythologic creatures could have sexual intercourse with gods and goddesses. And if you know mythology, this is not something out of, we know, like in the scriptures, Egypt, India, all those semi-gods, the gods that come and they have connection with humans and they make those babies. You see half animal, half human creatures, mythological creatures everywhere in the ancient times. So this goddess, there's a spirit of the goddess was incarnated in this beautiful woman that has this romance with the centaurus. That was my friend, my girlfriend. She was a chief of the centaurus who was in a relationship with Venus goddess. And she cried, she laughed. She said that this Venus was very mean to him sometimes, that she used all her sensuality and power to play around with all the beings and all the guys. And he was very jealous and he was very proud. And that the lesson was that she taught him to not be so proud and so mighty and step into humility. So there's always like a message after all these analogies. You can see it as analogy, you can see that maybe really happened, doesn't matter, but the message is there. The spirits of those animals are sending us a message for our growth. Through breath work, you can also have this connection with spirit animals. So another work that I do is guiding breath work, so like rebirthing style. And so I study transpersonal psychology, holotropic breath work. I study with students of Wim Hof. I've been with him in person. All my life I've been practicing tantric breath work and other techniques. And one of the very first time that I decided to guide people into breath work, one of my students saw a bear. There was this guy that was passing through a very, very deep process. And I really feel a strength of a guide inside of me that I didn't know I had. This guy was passing through a very, very deep process. And I remember I felt myself huge. And I just went, embraced him, and was like, you can go do this. You can go through this. I'm here with you. And she was also passing through the process. And she said that she saw a bear, a huge bear behind me. And she felt very safe to do that work with me because she knew I was not working alone. So there was the spirit of the bear next to me. And it was very interesting because this was how I felt. And this is what she saw. And she was a painter artist. So she made this beautiful picture, a painting, and she sent to me later. It was very nice. I'm almost done. I'm sorry is that okay if I share all this with you? Yeah. I just thought that it's nicer if I explain these things through my own experience and what I see in my life and work than what we read in books. So another one of the experience with the spirit animal was one day I was channeling, I was under trance. A friend of mine was guiding me into a hypnotic state. And I was channeling some beings, and I was recording everything on a professional voice recorder so it can capture every sound, everything. And it was very windy that day. And suddenly I heard that later in the voice recorder, but there was this cracking sound like and those beings just said, oh, there is an interference in the channel. The being downstairs wants to send a message. And the being downstairs was my cat. While I was channeling all this information, my cat downstairs was like, meow, meow, meow. And if you don't know, I have an incredible bobcat. He's half house cat, half bobcat. He's a huge black tailless cat. Very special, very incredible. He's like the love of my life. And he came into the session to give a message, a freaking message. They want to know what was his message. It's very interesting. I'm going to share two of the things he said because there's a lot there and I'm not going to bore you with a lot of information. But one of the things he said was this: I don't like when you talk to me as if I was a baby. You know, when you have a pet and you're like, oh, coochie, 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 bee, bee, bee. He was right when he said, I don't like when you talk to me as if I was a baby because my spirit is mighty. I'm like a Black Panther, the Black Panther you like, in a small body so you can experience my medicine. I have seen the beginning of this planet and I understand the end of it. It makes me truth bumps thinking about it. It was like, just incredible. And he said, another thing that I can explain to you is the difference between a love of a dog and a love of a cat. Do you want to know? He said, you humans, it's very accurate when you talk about puppy love, when you just meet someone and there's this incredible chemistry between you and your new lover, and you're so much in love that you don't see anything, you don't see any fault. Everything is just like this. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. It's totally blind. The love of a dog is totally blind. They don't see your darkness, they don't see your mistakes, they don't see anything. That's the love of a dog. Very accurate when you say puppy love for new lovers. The love of a cat is compared to the love of a very long time married couple that knows everything about each other, the good, the bad, the smelly, the beautiful things, but they'll still love you unconditionally. And that's the love of a cat. We see everything, we perceive everything, we know everything, we'll still love you unconditionally. So beautiful. And the third thing that I want to share that was such an amazing, mind blowing information, he said, you know, when you think that we are almost always hungry, that the cat is always hungry because we need the physical food to anchor our physicality in this dimension. It's almost like we need the physical food to anchor us in this planet because we're always traveling dimension. We're always gone. And you know that the cats sleep 20 hours a day, they're only awake in 4 hours. So cat really, this is why they're so sacred for the Egyptians, because a cat can perceive spirits and they can see things that other animals cannot see, for a dog, for instance. So this is what my cat said. And he said, this serves for every cat, not just me. All of us, we need food. We need this physical matter to anchor us in this planet Earth. So a spirit animal can talk to you through channeling. And I have other clients that they have channeled their animals, their pets as well. So if you have an animal, a pet, that you want to talk through them or that you want to have information, you can receive hypnosis session for that. And another thing that I want to share with you in that subject is there is a beautiful video online, the video of a woman that has this ability to talk to animals. I don't remember her name, but I don't know if you saw. There's a very, it's like a viral video that went viral that talks about Diablo. Is actually a Black Panther. Have you seen that video? Diablo is the name of this Black Panther that they are in this park and they change him to another rehab park, and the cat is always inside their little house inside the jail. This cat never goes out, and nobody of this veterinarians, the people, they don't know how or why this cat never goes out. So they call in the work of this medium, this channeler, to go talk to the cat, and the cat talks to her. And he was very concerned first with the cab, the other cat that was in this other park with him. He wanted to know what happened with this other cat, and he was very upset that people named him Diablo. He didn't like because of the connotation of that name and what it means. So the people in the park changed his name, and I don't know exactly the story, but you can see the video, is out there. But the same day that this woman come and talk to the cat is the first day that the cat leaves the little house and go outside and start exploring. It's a very, very beautiful video. So I will repeat that one more time. If everything that is alive has a spirit and have consciousness, we can communicate with them. We can consciously talk to them and ask for a message. We can consciously evoke that medicine, evoke that spirit to work with that spirit for something that we need in our life at the moment. Or they just come to us randomly to teach us something. And the last thing, sorry, the last that it got long. The last thing I want to share is when I received my Akashic record initiation. And that's another work that I do. I work with hypnosis, breath work, Akashic record reading, and it's a form of channeling. And when I received that channel, in the end of my channel, many animals came to me and they told me, because I was doubting myself and my own abilities in my mind. I was like, can I really do that? And they told me, you can do this. And remember that you're not alone. We'll always be with you. So the dolphin came, the black panther came, the eagle came, the quetzal came, the bear came, and suddenly I was surrounded. There was many of them, and they say, we're all here with you, we're going to be working with you, we're not alone. And that was very beautiful confirmation. Yeah, I think that was all what I wanted to share. There's a lot of information already, and thank you for listening. And I'm gonna guide you now through little hypnosis short, just a little visualization, group hypnosis technique to see if you can receive your own message for a spirit animal right now in this moment of your life. And then we end up the practice, the class today, with the oracle deck of the animal medicine for all of us. Maybe the animals have a message for our collective. So let's have a pause here. If you need to now find a comfortable position to lie down, cover your eyes if you want, or do whatever you need to go into a relaxing state. I'm gonna turn off my fan because it's very loud. Ah, so loud. So there's a sound of the whales in the background. I'll change the sound of the whales of this background just because I don't want to use any specific animals for this meditation, not to bring any ideas to your mind so you can go into a clear state. So I'm going to use the sound of a shamanic drum instead. I hope it's just very subtle in the background. So if you're still sitting with your eyes open or half open, just before we start, please put a thumbs up if the sound is okay. If you can hear the sound of my voice well, yeah, thank you. The drum in the background is subtle enough, but you can still hear it. No? A little higher? Louder? What about now? Is it loud enough that you can hear the drum and my voice? Okay, it cannot overpower my voice, so it's just for background, okay? Great, so let's find a comfortable position to be now. Close your eyes. If you want to lie down comfortably or sit in a way that you can let go your body. It's very important that you don't need to feel your body heavy, that you need to sustain your muscles. Just allow your whole body to flop, relaxed. So again, have one more second if you need to adjust the position of where you're sitting, your clothing, anything that might bother you to get into deep relaxation. Then take a couple of deep breaths here. Breathe in deeply And exhale, let go of any tensions, worries, anxiety of expectation. Let go of the worries and the stress of your day to day just for now. Nothing to do, nothing to think, just being. And maybe want to imagine or visualize a beautiful cloud that descends and penetrates your feet. This white cloud is a very powerful cloud. It has the power to relax, to soothe. It's almost like an analgesic feeling. So every part that touches the body, every part of the body that this cloud touches, become loose and limp. And this white cloud now penetrates your feet, so the feet flop to the sides naturally, relaxing. And this white cloud rises and relaxes your ankles and shins, knees and thighs, pelvis, hips, low back, waistline, your belly. You inhale and exhale and you relax your ribs, chest, shoulders, arms, wrists, hands and fingers. Breathing in and breathing out. The whole body relaxes now. Heavy, deeply melting into the floor, into the ground. And as you feel your body become heavier and heavier, it's almost like the cells and the atoms of your body separate and it can melt and merge into earth. And it can descend lower, heavier, down, deeper, down, heavier, down, deeper. So you enter the earth and we go into a tunnel-like place. And you begin to go even deeper down into this tunnel towards the core, the center of earth. I'm going to count from 5 to 1. And on a count of 1, you're going to get into the center of the earth. 5, going deeper down. 4, heavier and heavier, melting, merging, going down deeper. 3, even deeper now, heavier, melting into the earth, going down the tunnel. 2, almost there to the center of earth. And 1, now you are there. It might feel like a cave place, and you are protected in that cave. And it's a beautiful place. You can see it and just feel how the earth embraces you, cocoons you. She's embracing you like a loving embrace of a mother. And it feels wonderful. And the deeper you can relax, the better you feel. And the better you feel, the deeper you go relaxing. You are now in the center of the earth, inside this cave that is surrounded by light, a warm, healing light. You feel it, you know it, and it feels so good. That beautiful light that helps you to relax deeper, down deeper, down deeper and deeper relaxed. Nothing to do, just sitting, embraced by that light inside the cave and the center of earth. Feeling wonderful, happy, healthy, and protected. And you can just begin to notice, how does it feel to be there in the center of earth? You might feel a pulsation. Your heartbeat, it's her heartbeat. You are her and she is you. You feel her feelings. You are earth. You are water. You are fire. You are the air. You are the elements, and the elements are within you. Just feel in that deep state of relaxation. Allow yourself to become those elements. You might identify with one element more than the other. Just notice. Do you feel more earth, more water, more fire, more air, or a combination of all? And as you sit in that beautiful light inside this cave, in the center of earth, feeling the elements, slowly, slowly, your guide will come next to you and sit next to you. This guide has the form of an animal and is slowly approaching and sitting next to you. The guide is coming on the count of 1, 5, 4 as you relax and continue relaxing deeper. 3, the guide is coming. 2, it's almost there. 1, your guide is there now. And it's sitting next to you. It's looking at you. You might see it. You might feel it. You might just have an impression of it. You can notice this animal, this guide. It might have a shape or form, or might just be connected to one of those elements. Notice, see, feel. What is the element? What is the animal that comes to you to greet you, to guide you? It might be one animal, it might be more than one. Feel it, notice. It might be next to you, it might be you. You may become that animal so you can feel the feelings in your body, how it is to become this animal. How it feels to be that animal. If you are the animal or the animal is sitting next to you, doesn't matter. You can ask for a message. If you don't understand why you're seeing or feeling this animal, ask why you're here. What is your message to me, for me? What is the message? Listen. What is the message of your spirit animal? What does he or she wants to teach you? Feel it. Listen. You might feel those elements and those attributes in your body, in your being. You can ask your animal spirit, why did you came? What you want to teach me? What you want to show me? Is it animal that I've been before in another life? Is it the spirit of an animal that was a friend, a companion, and had passed, and now it's here to send me a message? Is it a symbol of my subconscious so I can understand more about myself and my personality? What is the message of your animal, of your spirit animal? You can also ask your animal how to evoke this energy, how to use that medicine. How can I respectfully use your medicine, your power? And now you can let go of those messages. Let go of that spirit, your animal spirit, and let him or her go back to the place, to the element they belong. You know you can always call upon this energy whenever you want, whenever you need. So you can say thanks and allow them to go. So once again, you can begin to go back to leave that cave with that beautiful light. And you begin to ascend from the center of the earth back to the surface. Drifting, floating up, up, up to the surface of earth. And now you're on the other side. And you can once again feel your body lying on the floor or sitting, whatever you are now. You can once again connect with this place where you are, the time of the day. And you can slowly come back to be aware of this body, this time, this lifetime. But you won't forget your spirit animal. What was the message? And how you can use that medicine and evoke that energy whenever you need. So from 1 to 5, going back. 1, slowly aware once again of your body, your breath. 2, aware of this time and this place. 3, 4, slowly moving the body once again. And 5, take your time to come back slowly and open your eyes. Take a deep breath. And the prince, the purple frog, is back. The ruler of time. Hello, hello, Hari Om. Just make sure that everybody is back and well. And
Nice.
thank you. Of course, this was just like 15 minutes is a little bit of a taste. I know that some of you here already had the hypnosis session with me. You know that the session is like 1.5 hours and we can go way deeper and discover much more things. But that is just a little taste of what it can be and how it might feel to be in a relaxed state. Of course, when it's just like that short, some people can have an experience, other people don't. But it's just a question of practice. The more we practice, the easier it gets. So I would like for you to share a little bit before I get into the one card and complete the class for today. We still have a few more minutes to go to the end. So if you have anything you'd like to share, please, if you could connect with your spirit animal in this guided meditation, if there was a message there for you, any other thing you'd like to share, please, or add. Yes. Sarah, let's unmute. I don't know why, but I cannot hear you. Try again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Do you just want me to share like what I saw or what came to me?
Whatever you want to share.
Okay. For me, I saw more than one spirit animal. I saw a couple of totems that appeared as a kind of headdress on a shaman as my guide, and then it came into a pink and red and orange cobra snake that turned into one of my ancestors that was very clairvoyant and would know what's in people's pockets when she was alive in Vietnam. And then it turned into a dragon circling the earth because their culture there is very known as the people of the dragon. Um, and then it showed me some other animals like a rhinoceros that I used to draw in my teenagers when I was very younger and felt very connected to that animal. The headdresses that I saw in the shaman were that of the first two of the first three animals that I wrote down, which was a black panther and an eagle. And then my dog, who is my soul dog, that I think is something else that I'll do with hypnosis with you later on, was her name was Akasha, and she picked her name. She was a Rottweiler.
Oh.
Yeah, and some of her ashes are actually in Montezuma in Costa Rica, because she was with me there when I first went there when I was 20, so about 20 years ago. Yeah.
Very awesome experience.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it was a lot. I was trying to just focus on one, but then I just let it happen. So it was interesting. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sarah. Anyone else? If you want to share in Portuguese, you can. If it's easier. I know that some people can follow the English, but it's hard to communicate in English. So if you want to share in Portuguese, please. Or Spanish.
I want to share.
Yay.
I saw like it wasn't very clear, but it was like a tiger, you know. It was like a mixture. I don't know how to explain it, but I couldn't understand the message that he was passing to me because when it came the time, I was like inside a clock, and it was like circling very fast, you know, and I couldn't stop it. But yeah, I think that was my experience.
Nice. Sometimes we feel this spinning or clock, or some people feel like spinning in hypnosis is when they're just going in through this tunnel of light that can, or the tunnel of time, that can be the physical sensation of spinning. It's quite common. So you had a little glimpse, you felt something. Yeah, definitely can go deeper in another time. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, for
I
me,
can share.
it's
Oh,
curious.
okay. Mm.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Go,
It's
Kristen,
okay.
you're already on.
Yeah, for me it's curious because feeling for me it's actually I just always had this strong connection with the Black Panther, and it's just so curious that everyone is talking about this. And for me it's just I've never had like any other animals. It's just this that I felt like a strong connection with the spirit, maybe, that I feel like it just gives me like the qualities of it, like the protection and the embodiment of the strength of the panther. And I always felt like it's just like a protective animal for me. And yeah, it's so cool because whenever I try to connect with it, and when I feel down or something like that, and I just feel like what would I do if I were a panther actually. And it just came down to me just like a download, and it's so cool. And actually I wanted to show you some art that I did before, because for me it's incredible. No, if you can see,
Oh,
for me, this
Oh,
is
wow.
like I feel like you may not see it like on yourself, but the spirit is just there behind you, always like taking care of you. And you can feel the energy if you allow it to. So, for me, so cool. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know if you can go now.
I think she's frozen.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, definitely. Lots connection.
Maybe we're all connected today because of the Black Panther.
That makes sense.
Maybe she lost power or something. There's like a storm here. Anyone else is from Costa Rica here?
No, but I've been there 20 times since
Wow.
2002. So they call me Tika and Montezuma a lot.
Nice.
June's
Yeah,
come back.
there's like a storm here and it's raining a lot. So
Oh, that's good though. I heard that you guys needed rain a couple weeks ago. Some friends were saying that you guys really needed rain.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
but now it's like a hurricane that's coming, but it's supposed to be
Oh,
only this week, and so hopefully it will get back to normal.
I hope so. The lizards
Yes.
might be out.
Yeah, and the spiders and everything. It's
Oh,
crazy.
don't mention the spiders or the scorpions.
Yeah. And have you seen any jaguars or panthers here when you came?
Not yet, but I usually always go to Nicoya Peninsula. I
Yeah.
traveled a little bit through other parts of the country in the early 2000s, but lately I just go to the same place.
Yeah.
Because I took a 10-year break to help some of my relatives that were sick,
Hmm.
but stayed in touch with people there, and it's like I never left. But I would have dreams of certain places in Costa Rica during that time I was away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah. I've have you heard about Peninsula de Osa?
No, what
Yeah.
happened there?
It's so Nicoya is here and Peninsula de Osa is like on the other side. So they see like each other, but it's so cool because like in Peninsula de Osa, it's supposed to be like the uh, corridor of all America for animals. So every animal that crosses like from north to south, they always go to Peninsula de Osa. So it's like this beautiful place. It's so crazy because I mean, you go there and you see like so many animals like in any other
Wow.
place, like, and yeah, you see like a lot of jaguars and panthers. There's like there's where they actually live. So it's so crazy because in any other place you will get like trouble seeing animals, but in there
Mhm.
the community itself it's like built so they live like really connected to the nature and stuff. So when
Is
you
it
come
is it
next, you should go there.
I should is it dangerous to go there by yourself or
No, I mean probably if you go alone on the forest, well maybe you you could get like surprised by an animal or something, but if you go like in a group of two or three, there's no problem.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
and it's also right beside the beach, so it's also
It's
really cool.
perfect.
Just yeah.
Wonder if she can reconnect. Let's see if she contacted us another way.
Hello.
Oh,
You're on mute.
Good. And now, can you hear me, see me
Oh,
now?
there you are. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. The electricity's gone. We are in the middle of a hurricane that came from Nicaragua. This is the fourth or fifth day of rain. There was strong rain. The trees are falling these days. And anyways, I connected with my phone. I gave internet from my phone to the computer now. So we're back. And we're almost now we passed the time, 5 minutes, but please, if just to wrap it up, if you want to share, if we have a little more time to hear each other, to hold space for each other. I know Fernanda wanted to share. Do you want to share your experience?
it's fine. I can.
Please
It
share.
it was nice actually. I had like I always had the blue butterfly with me,
Oh,
but this time it came as a female lion, and it was really cozy. She was beautiful, and I could feel her courage and protection. And she was pregnant with baby lions.
Oh,
oh,
Yeah. And actually, I'm trying to get pregnant, so it was really nice. Maybe
oh,
I think I need that courage of her and
wow.
to
It
feel
makes
that
us true.
protection. It was cool.
Nice.
Did she give you a message? You asked for a message.
No, she just said that she was with me and that I would need that.
Oh, so beautiful. It makes me, all my body is goosebumpy.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Okay, anyone else like to share something? This morning, I was sitting in my meditation as I do every morning, and a bit rainy, so I had a dress on and another long sleeve dress on top. And my cat was, he always lie down on top of me while I'm meditating. And I could feel the stingy walking through between my dresses. And I uncovered one of the layers, and the big scorpio was there walking on my leg. And I just shoo it away. And then I was sweeping right before our call, and I saw another baby scorpio in the house. So two in one day.
Well,
So I'll definitely grab later the card of Scorpio and see. But yeah, so the animal spirit, like I said, they change through times in our lives. For me, definitely it's been a few years. Unicorn is one of them. So I'm gonna shuffle these cards very quickly and pick one card for us all as a collective. Those are beautiful cards, the medicine cards. I'm gonna spread them here. Then pick one. All of you guys, put your energy here for a moment. We're asking for the spirit animal to send us a collective message, a message for us, for our group today. Oh, I got an animal that is not animal, so I'll try again. butterfly,
Yay.
the blue morpho, your spirit animals here. So whatever this blue morpho means for you personally, this is the message of the blue morpho for you. And I can also check for the message in the book. So I'll ask you if you want me to read from the book now, or shall I screenshot and send the message in our group so we can all go on with our day and give it close for today.
Yeah, I think you can get a picture.
Yeah, everybody agree
Yeah.
with that? A butterfly is quite self-explanatory, isn't it?
Yeah. Sure.
It's a good one. So this is a time for us all to transform, people. So I'll thank you very much for being here today. I send in you much love from my heart, from the animal kingdom, in my heart into yours. Thank you so much. And I'll
Thank you.
take this for
Thank you.
conclusion for today. Sorry that I disappeared for a little bit. And again, I'll stay here until the end. If there is any other thing you'd like to share in person and private after, or just at this moment, you can say bye, and I'll stay here until the last person leave the call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
It's nice.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank
It was
you.
Thank
awesome.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.